Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem, and proclaim to her. Now Jerusalem, of course, is being used as a personification of the people. And proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. So her sentence is over. In modern criminal terminology, her sentence is over. She is going to be released from prison. A voice of one calling in the desert. Prepare in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord. This, of course, is applied to John the Baptist in the Gospels. All four Gospels will apply this text to John the Baptist. Now, I'm not going to go through, I should say here, a lot of these, there's going to be Isaiah is an extremely heavily quoted book in the New Testament. It's one of the most quoted books in the New Testament of the Old Testament. I have not been turning to the New Testament to talk about, to point out some of the quotations of Isaiah up to this point in my reading of Isaiah. And I'm not going to do it here either. I'm reading the entire Bible, taking it basically as it came, reading it as close as I can determine to the order in which the message was delivered, so we can understand the message as it was delivered from beginning to end. So I'm not reading the New Testament sections here that quote parts of Isaiah, because as we're reading through Isaiah, the New Testament doesn't exist yet. Like, that hasn't been written yet. Of course, the New Testament does exist in our day and time, so it is wise we have to look at these prophecies through the New Testament prism. That's ultimately what we have to do to fully understand them. And so all four Gospels will apply this section of Isaiah 40, verses 3 and 4, and apply that to John the Baptist. So, there will be other sections of Isaiah, there have been, and will continue to be, that are quoted by the New Testament and apply to a specific New Testament principle that will help us get the full understanding of what Isaiah was actually talking about. But I am not calling those to attention as I read this out, just so you know that I am not including that as part of my video lesson series here. I could have. That is something I thought about doing, but I decided not to because I'm trying to read through the text in the sequence in which it was actually given to mankind. But we do have the New Testament. The New Testament does interpret and explain some of these prophecies and images in Isaiah 4, including this one, which is very much applied to John the Baptist and the Gospels. We don't need to have any doubt about that. A voice of one calling, in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the wilderness a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain. And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all mankind together will see it, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Again, the New Testament applies that to John the Baptist and his ministry of preparing the people for the arrival of the Messiah, Jesus, who was to come right behind him. A voice says, cry out. And I said, what shall I cry? All men are like grass, and all their glory is like the flowers of the field. The grass withers, so you, as a man, you will wither, and the flowers fade, because the breath of the Lord blows on them. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers and the flowers fade or fall, but the word of our God stands forever. You bring good, we can come and go, people will come and go, grass will come and go, but God stands forever. There's one thing that lasts forever, one thing that is immortal, one thing that is eternal, that is God. You who bring good tidings to Zion, go, I'm assuming he's talking to Isaiah, the speaker here. God is talking, I'm assuming. The you here, I'm assuming, is Isaiah. God is commissioning Isaiah to give a message. You who bring good tidings to Zion, go up on a high mountain. You who bring good tidings to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with a shout. Lift it up, do not be afraid. Say to the towns of Judah, here is your God. See, the sovereign Lord comes with power, and his arm rules for him. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense accompanies him. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. He gently leads those that have young. He's going to be bringing the people out of Babylonian captivity and back to the land. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or with the breadth of his hand marked off the heavens? Who has held the dust of the earth in a basket, or weighed the mountains on the scales, and the hills in the balance? Have you done this? I haven't done this. I haven't measured the dust of an earth in a basket, or held the waters of the earth in my hand. The Lord has done this. Who has instructed the mind of the Lord, or instructed him as his counsel? I haven't done that either. God never asked me for any advice or input on what he wanted to do. Whom did the Lord consult to enlighten him? And who taught him the right way? Who was it that taught him knowledge, or showed him the path of understanding? Surely the nations are like a drop in a bucket. They are regarded as dust on the scales. He weighs the islands as though they were fine dust. Lebanon is not sufficient for altar fire. Lebanon is where they got all their big trees to make their buildings with. So all the trees in Lebanon are not sufficient for altar fires. Nor is animals enough for burnt offerings. Before him, all the nations are as nothing. They are regarded by him as worthless and less than nothing. So you can't offer anything to God that he doesn't already have or that he needs. To whom then will you compare God? What image will you compare him to? As for an idol, a craftsman casts it, and a goldsmith overlays it with gold, and fashions silver chains for it. A man too poor to present such an offering, so if he can't afford a gold or silver idol, you would select wood that would not rot. He looks for a skilled craftsman to set up an idol that will not topple. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood since the earth was founded? He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy, and spreads them out like a tree to live in. Hebrew is another imagery of the sky as like a tent. I talked before about the idea of the sky as being a solid structure, or a dome, or a tent. To them, the sky was similar to their tent tops, which they stretched out as shelter in the desert. He brings princes to naught, and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. No sooner are they planted, no sooner are they sown, no sooner do they take root in the ground, than he blows on them, and they wither, and a whirlwind sweeps them away like chaff. So people come and go. People are like grass and flowers. They come and go. Even the rulers are like that. Even the mighty of the earth. But God is enthroned above the earth, and he rules forever. To whom will you compare me? So God is speaking. Or who is my equal, says the Holy One. Lift your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls them each by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. Why do you say, O Jacob, and complain, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, my cause is disregarded by my God? He's basically saying here the same thing Job said back in Job, is that God is turned away from me. He's left me alone. He's abandoned me. I don't know what he's doing. Remember, these are people who are living in exile in Babylon, and they've been born there. These are the second generation or later of exiles who have never known life in the Holy Land, and they're being shown the futility of idols, and they're frustrated in their predicament in life, and they're having to be shown the power and grace and mercy and existence of Israel's God. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord, Jehovah, is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. In his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths will grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength, whether they're young or not. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Be silent before me, you islands. Let the nations renew their strength. Let them come forward and speak. Let us meet together at the place of judgment. Who has stirred up one from the east, calling him in righteousness to his service? So one from the east is coming. One from the east has been stirred up. And who's done this? He hands nations, he, the one who's done this, is handing nations over to the one that he's stirring up. He hands nations over to him, and subdues kings before him. He turns them to dust with his sword, to wind-blown chaff with his bow. He pursues them and moves on unscathed. This is the one being stirred up, the one being empowered, by a path his feet have not traveled before. So that is referring to a guy named Cyrus, who is going to come from the east, from Persia, to attack Babylon and conquer it, and set free the captives that he inherits from Babylon, including the Jews. That's the one being stirred up here, and that's the one, and God is the one doing the stirring. God is the one raising this figure up. Who has done this and carried it through, calling forth the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, with the first of them, and with the last, I am He. The islands have seen it and fear. Remember, islands is a term for the far-off reaches of the world. In Isaiah's mind, there is no farther place to go than the islands of the Mediterranean Sea. Those shipping routes, those trading vessels, okay, when they would go out there, they would go as far as Isaiah could think that anyone could ever go. So when he talks about islands, he's talking about the farthest reaches that he can conceive of in his understanding of the world at that time. The islands have seen it and fear. The ends of the earth tremble. They approach and come forward. Each helps the other and says to his brother, be strong. The craftsman encourages the goldsmith, and he who smooths with a hammer spurs on him who strikes the anvil. He says of the welding, it is good. He nails down the idol so that it will not topple. So he thinks he's going to be able to endure whatever Cyrus is going to do with God's power. But you, O Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, you descendants of Abraham, my friend, I took you from the ends of the earth. From its farthest corners I called you. I said, you are my servant. There's that servant imagery. Here, in case it's applied to Israel as a nation. I have chosen you, and I have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. All who rage against you will surely be ashamed and disgraced. Those who oppose you will be as nothing and will perish. Though you search for your enemies, you will not find them. Though you wage war, those who wage war against you will be as nothing at all. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand, and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Do not be afraid, O worm Jacob, O little Israel, for I myself will help you, declares the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. There's another Isaiah term, the Holy One of Israel. See, I will make you into a threshing sledge, new and sharp with many teeth. You will thresh the mountains and crush them, and reduce the hills to chaff. You will thresh the mountains and crush them. I said already. You will winnow them. The wind will pick them up, and a gale will blow them away. But you will rejoice in the Lord, and glory in the Holy One of Israel. So the nations are going to be putting their faith in these idols that they know. That Israel is not to do that. They are to put their faith in God. The poor and needy search for water, but there is none. Their tongues are parched with thirst. But I, the Lord, will answer them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will make rivers flow on barren heights, and springs within the valleys, out in the desert into pools of water, and the parched ground into springs. There is that wasteland versus inhabited land imagery that's so prominent. That goes all back to creation. God made the chaotic, uninhabitable world inhabitable and inhabited. The tohu and bohu, the purposeless and functionless, world that existed, he turned that into something that could be used and had a purpose and a function that could be lived in. So here he's doing the same. That's where that imagery comes from. I'll put in the desert the cedar and the acacia, the myrtle and the olive. I will set pines in the wasteland, the fir and the cypress together, so that people may see and know, may consider and understand, as the hand of the Lord has done this, that the Holy One of Israel has created it. Present your case, says the Lord. Set forth your arguments, says Jacob's king. Bring in your idols to tell us what is going to happen. Tell us what the former things were, so we may consider them and know their final outcome. Or declare to us the things to come. Tell us what the future holds, so we may know that you are gods. Do something, whether good or bad, so we will be dismayed and filled with fear. But you are less than nothing, and your works are utterly worthless. He who chooses you is detestable. So if you can do it, do it. If you can predict the future, predict the future. If you can reveal the past, reveal the past. Do something, anything. But you're so useless you can't do anything at all. I have stirred up one from the north, and he comes. One from the rising sun, that's east, who calls on my name. Persia is east of Israel, but to get to Israel, he has to come from the north. That's why they talk about the north a lot. He treads on rulers as if they were more. This is Cyrus here. I'm talking about Cyrus coming from Persia to attack Babylon. He treads on rulers as if they were mortar, as if he were a potter treading the clay. Who told of this from the beginning, so that we could know, or beforehand, so we could say he was right? So who said this was going to happen? God said it was going to happen 200 years before it happened. Who else did that? Who else said that? No one told of this. No one foretold it. No one heard any words from you. I was the first to tell Zion, look, here they are. I gave to Jerusalem a messenger of good tidings. I looked, but there is no one among them to give counsel, no one to give answer when I ask them. See, they are all false. Their deeds amount to nothing. Their images are but wind and confusion. So God is the one who predicted this would happen long before it happened. No one else did that. He even laid the challenge out there. He even laid the challenge out there. If you can find someone else who said this is going to happen, let him come forward and present his case. But no one could.